Before we dive in, today's episode is brought to you by More Biz Spots, your connector for business spaces right here in Moore County. Whether you need an office for the day, a conference room for your team, or a venue for your next big idea, More Biz Spots helps you find the perfect space, connecting people to spaces and spaces to opportunity. That's what we do. Learn more at morebizspots.com.
Imagine more stories that soar, business, life, and so much more. Laughs, lessons, and local delight. It's the podcast that feels just right. It's the Imagine More podcast.
Welcome back to the Imagine More podcast, where we celebrate the people, places, and possibilities that make our community thrive. I'm your host, Rose Young. Today, I have the joy of sitting down with someone who has spent her career helping others find their voice. Literally. Ann Petersen is the founder of Craft of the College Essay, a brand new venture that helps students show up boldly and authentically in one of the most intimidating parts of the college application, the essay. But Ann's story goes far beyond that. From the courtroom as a trial attorney to the classroom as a beloved AP teacher, debate coach, and community leader, Ann has dedicated her life to empowering others. And today, she's sharing her journey with us. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you. I'm so delighted to be here. It's serendipitous that we met each other at a wonderful community outreach. And thank you for following up on that. This is exciting.
That's true. When I heard your name and you were sitting next to me, I went, Ann Petersen? How did that happen?
What a treat. No.
So, Ann, let's start at the beginning. You began your career as a trial attorney. What inspired you to make the leap into teaching?
I think that my own children probably inspired me. As they became of school age. I thought, I really need to lobby for education. But in order to lobby for education, I was working as a trial lawyer. I had my law license, and I thought, I need to spend time in the classroom in order to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
So I told my sweet husband, my best friend in the world, I said, I'm going to go work in a class. I'm going to get my degree in education. I'm going to go work in a classroom for 3 years, and then I'm going to go lobby for education. And he said, okay, great. That's fine.
Oh, really? He was just like, okay, do it.
And after 3 years, I said, but hold on, I've fallen in love with my students and I'm having so much fun. I'm not sure I'm ready to leave the classroom yet. And I was in middle school. I started my career at Southern Middle School.
Really?
And was teaching 8th graders and was blown away by how bright and inquisitive and
I love middle schoolers.
Lovely they were. And challenging.
Yes.
But then 3 years later, I was given an opportunity to move on to Pinecrest to the high school. And so I graduated after 6 years in middle school and moved on to high school. And 22 years later, I retired.
Wow.
From that profession, yeah.
And how long were you a trial attorney?
I was probably a trial attorney for about 13 years, I think.
Really?
I'd worked first in Raleigh, and then I married into Moore County, married Bruce Cunningham, and came down here, and we had set up a firm, Cunningham, Debnan, Peterson, and Smith. So I worked with that law firm for a while and had worked with Cheshire, Parker, Hughes, and Manning in Raleigh.
Interesting. Wow. You know, I had a similar journey with middle school and then into high school. And then I ended my career going back to middle school.
So did you were a teacher?
Yes, I was. But in Dodea. So that's Fort Bragg brought me here.
Okay. Lovely.
Yes, but it takes a special person to do middle school.
It does. And it's special people in middle school. And you really, I mean, they're lovely and they're figuring out their space in the world and the path they want to take. So it's a fun journey.
Yeah, and you said that you were just gonna do it for 3 years, and 22 years later, what kept bringing you back and back
Oh my
and
gosh,
back?
the students,
Yes,
definitely the students,
definitely the students. Do you ever hear from any of them
all
or
the time.
Yes, I love that.
All the time, and they are, in my mind, they are still 17 years old at the oldest, and so they'll call and say, "Would you like to meet me downtown for a glass of wine?" I go, "No, you can't
You
drink."
did.
And of course, they're 27 years old
Yeah.
now. So,
So you've guided countless students through AP Language and AP Literature. What moments stand out as the most rewarding?
obviously, with any teacher, I think our most fun moments are light bulb moments.
Right.
And certainly there were lots of those with writing where I would watch individual students suddenly realize their genius with writing. But
Yes.
I think my most fun memories are probably when they connect with a piece of literature, whether it's Oscar Wilde or Jane Austen or Sharon Draper or Shakespeare. There's always a moment. I had a shout out to Paul Snyder, who probably gave me one of my most fun days ever teaching. Who
Uh-huh.
was walking out of the classroom. We had just started reading Hamlet. We were just getting into the very first part of the drama, and he walked out and he said, I've never understood it until today why everybody wants to study Shakespeare, but you just made it come alive. I just understood.
Oh my
I understand what's
goodness.
important now." And that was just a day that I celebrate. I
Oh,
celebrate.
I bet. I
Yeah.
bet. And it still
Yeah.
feels good
Oh, it's
thinking
wonderful.
about it now,
It's
doesn't it?
wonderful.
Yeah. So, of course, you coach Pinecrest's nationally ranked speech and debate team as well. How did that experience shape your views on student confidence and voice?
It gives me hope and it gives me confidence about the future.
Yes. Okay. So how so? Explain
They are
yourself.
so bright. The kids are so bright. And it was lovely in this case, I guess, shout out to Zoe Fury, who was one of my students who had to do a public speaking assignment in my English class, and she reluctantly did it. And I could clearly see she had a genius for it. And so I
Yes.
put her on the team, and she went to the next meet and, of course, placed first in the whole
Oh,
district. So, but there were just moments where how did it shape me was your question, but it was more watching how it shaped the kids
yes.
and watching them be able to think both sides of an issue and have intelligent conversations with each other about issues
Yes.
was where I hope they can lead the way for all of us to do that.
Right. That's what I was thinking. That's what we need today is to be able to
Exactly.
do that very thing.
We're so polarized now, I think, politically and otherwise, and I think that students who have studied both sides of an issue and learned to be very articulate,
Yes.
and those kids go into a competition, they walk into a room, they don't know whether they're going to argue pro or con on an
Oh,
issue, and you flip a coin, and when you flip the coin, they know which side they're going to have, whether they argue
really?
pro or
Yes.
con.
Oh, my goodness.
And for them to be able to just shift gears and adopt that argument, but to also understand and listen to the other team
Yeah.
against whom they're competing is wonderful and hopeful and
Right.
the way we should all be thinking and learning.
Well,
So,
to be able to understand both sides, you might not agree with both sides, but to be able to listen to and understand
right.
both sides.
And discuss,
Yes.
to respectfully discuss.
Yes. Yes.
Lovely.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about Craft of the College Essay. How new is that, Ann?
So it's not that new to me personally because I taught both 11th and 12th grade AP classes. I taught the whole spectrum. I taught every range of student
Yes.
at Pinecrest, but I did teach the AP classes, and one of the things that was necessary to work on was the skill of writing the college essay. So at the end of the year, after the AP exam is over, which is basically 2 or 3 weeks before school ends, junior year, I would say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to work on how to do this and so on and so forth.
Right.
And I would teach a whole class on it. They were ready to leave school and go to the pool and hang
Oh,
out.
gosh, I
And I
know.
go,
That's
"No,
a tough
I'm going,
time.
no,
Yeah.
So then when I had them as seniors, I would usually have about 70 AP students as seniors, and I would have, as an assignment, they would write their college essay.
Yes.
And that became a pretty big undertaking for me, certainly for them, but certainly for me too, trying to shepherd 70 kids through. And so I leaned on the community in that case.
Yes.
We would get it to where they had an essay written that they thought was good and ready to go. And we would set up a workshop in the media center at Pinecrest from 5 o'clock until 10 p.m.
Oh, my
one night.
goodness. Yeah.
Every student had to appear with their essay, and we had set up 10 volunteers from the community. And John Nagy, shout out to John Nagy at the Pilot.
Yeah.
Because John used to come and would be one of my readers, and my husband Bruce Cunningham would come, and Maggie Bonecutter would come, and just people in the community who I knew were excellent people, number one, and excellent writers, number two. And they all had a different table in the media center. And as a student came in, I would give them a number, and they would have to report. When their number came up, they'd have to report to the next person who was there to review their essay. And the instruction that I gave to the volunteers, the instructions were, you can accept them to your college if their essay is brilliant.
Oh, okay.
You can waitlist them if their essay needs work or has a lot of editing problems. Or you can reject them if it looks like they wrote it 20 minutes before they came into here and they haven't really given it much thought.
Yes, okay.
And so that went in as a grade.
Oh,
and
wow.
So that was 185 and 70.
It's fabulous.
And it was really a cool thing. And after I left, I mean, that was also an exhausting thing to undertake. But after I left, that no longer happened. So a few kids sought me out after I retired. And I worked with them, but I think you're going to want, I assume you're going to want to know the origin of how I came to do it.
Yes, I do. That was my next question.
So the origin of Craft at the College Essay, the small business exists because I fractured my patella.
Oh, what? It's the universe slapping you in the face. I want you to do this.
Last December, and you'll understand this, I have 2 unruly dogs.
Oh, yes.
Last December, I went airborne over one of my dogs and came down on my right knee and fractured my patella. And for a while, I was in so much pain that I couldn't do much. But then I became sort of debilitated and couldn't get out and ride my bike downtown and do things I normally do. And so I got kind of bored. And my daughter came home at Christmas time. I have 2 daughters, but both my daughters were home, but my older daughter was at the table with me. And I said, I'm thinking about just starting a business to help with college essays.
Right.
And I said that to the daughter who is a producer, director in Los Angeles.
Oh, no. So she jumped on it.
So shout out to Katie, who flipped open her laptop computer and started typing away. And she said, here's the timeline. Here's my job. Here's your job. Here's what we're going to do. Let's get this started. And so it literally was, I fractured my patella the first week in December, and this was the first week in January. And she said, you're going to do it, Mom. Let's go.
Let's go.
And so she shepherded me through. Last Easter, in fact, last Easter was the time that I went to LA and saw her and her very dear friend, Sean Brennan, who is a videographer of great note. And the two of them, she produced my course that I have online, and Sean filmed it. And so it was just this.
That's just
such a gift of love. I mean, it was, again, the universe taking care of me. But
definitely so.
Very proud.
And your daughter.
And my daughter, the universe of my daughter, and my dear, dear, dear friend Sean Brennan. So shout out to him and to Katie Cunningham.
That's an amazing story.
So it was pretty cool. So we spent Easter Sunday, instead of having a moment and having a really relaxed meal and making our way to church, we spent it setting up production and filming a 3-hour course. We were all so exhausted and thrilled with the way it turned out. But that was the only day that we could all get together and make it work.
It was Easter Sunday.
Everybody
was off. Oh, my goodness. So when did you launch?
So the website launched before the course did. The course didn't launch until July.
Okay.
And
This July. Brand new.
Brand new. And the website launched, oh gosh, I don't know. Katie helped with that. Katie did that, and it's lovely. I can't remember when we actually went live on the website, but the course was, to be exact, July 7th.
July 7th. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to hear.
Very exciting, yeah.
So a lot of families find the essay intimidating. Why is it such a powerful part of the application process, you think?
So the college the person who looks at your college application is going to spend 15 minutes looking at the whole packet. And that includes the essay, the teacher recommendations.
15 minutes.
15 minutes, approximately. So that's your transcript, your recommendation from your counselor, recommendation from the teacher, extracurricular activities. There are about 12 components. And the most important component, the essay is ranked 5th as far as most important, but the most important component of your college application is positive character attributes.
Really?
And there's no place to better display that than in your essay.
Interesting.
So the essay needs to be authentic.
Yeah.
And the essay needs to be in your voice, and the essay needs to be carefully edited, and it needs to show and not tell your story, your narrative.
Yeah.
And that's...
What do you mean show and not tell?
I mean, if you wouldn't say, for example, back to my daughter Katie, you would not say, I'm a resourceful, creative person. But if you tell the story of her younger sister Jenny getting stuck in a tree when she was very young, and Katie, unbeknownst to me,
this is a true story.
True story. True story. I was at the grocery store. Grandpa was supposed to be in charge of the girls. He was in the backyard, not paying a bit of attention. Jenny's stuck in the tree, and Katie, at 9 years old, literally puts together a pulley system and a trash can, puts her sister in the trash can and lowers her to the ground, which could have been such a disaster.
Oh, I wish there was a video of that.
Yeah. I pulled in the driveway as the final descent was happening, and I just went, you have to stay calm, you have to stay calm.
Oh.
But literally I watched my older child put her arms around the trash can and lower my 4-year-old down to the ground, and I just thought, okay, I'm not sure what they were doing, but they're safe.
What an amazing idea she had.
So it's lovely. I mean, she was 9 years old, and again, she told the story in her narrative, and it's included in my course. I read the narrative in my course, but she told the story in such a lovely, self-deprecating way. But when I would read it to my class, when I was teaching the course in my class, I would say, okay, Katie didn't tell you what she is. Can you please tell me what attributes you would give her? And they go, resourceful, things outside the box, loyal, creative, intuitive. And they would have all these, and I go, that's exactly right. And she just showed you, she didn't tell you, hey, I'm resourceful and creative.
Okay.
So.
And that's what authenticity looks like. That's how
that's
it looks
what
in practice.
Yeah. And I think it's okay. I mean, if somebody's creative and they tell me they're creative, that certainly is authentic too.
Right.
But I think the trick to the college essay is it has to be a narrative. And it has to show who you are. And you get bonus points if it's also clear that there's been some epiphany that came from that story, something you learned.
Yes.
So it's kind of, it's not really formulaic. And the other problem with narrative writing is we don't in school really teach kids how to do narrative writing.
No.
But if you can get them talking, a lot of times when I'm working with a child one-on-one or student one-on-one, they're not really children, they're young adults. When I'm working with a young adult one-on-one and they say, I don't know what to write about, I don't know how to write.
Right.
And I'll say, well, tell me the story. And I will take copious notes or record them as they're talking to me. And then they realize they've written their story by telling it. So, but they think that they can't write a story, but they can write a story.
And they can.
We can all tell a story.
Yes.
And they can do it. And sometimes when they're really stuck, if I say, we're going to share a Google Doc and I'm going to send you 5 questions and I need you to just answer them. Don't think about what you're doing or edit. Don't do word count. Don't do punctuation. Don't do any of those things. Just write back to me.
Just do it.
And it happens, yeah.
So you built offerings, online courses, one-on-one consulting, and workshops. Can you walk us through each option?
Right. Well, the course we pretty much talked about. The course is there, and it's about a 3-hour-long course. It has not only how to write the essay, but it also includes tips on how to think through who's going to write your recommendations and how to ask for those in a tactful, respectful, polite manner, understanding that any teacher who writes a recommendation is probably volunteering about an hour and a half of his or her time.
Exactly.
And
don't ask at the very last minute.
Don't
I
ask
need
at the
it
last
tomorrow.
minute, right? And they'll say no, and you'll be stuck. Right? And it warns about. It has a brief period at the end of the course where I say, okay, go grab your parents and bring them in the room with you. And parents can sometimes be over-involved. And Bruce and I were certainly guilty of this with Katie. We thought we knew what she needed to write about.
Oh, yeah.
And we were wrong.
Oh.
And we were absolutely wrong.
And did she tell you?
No, we, and I mean we, all participated and wrote the piece that we thought she needed to write. And then we all looked at each other and went, oh gosh, you can't send that. That has way too much Mom and Dad in it. That's ridiculous. No. And about a week later, she called me and she said, Mom, I'm going to read you something. Don't say a word. I said, all right. And that's when she read me the story of bringing your sister out of the tree, which was exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Which was exactly what she needed to have written. So.
Well, I would love to do a podcast with your daughter.
Oh my gosh. She
sounds very interesting.
Stunning. Yeah. They're both lovely. Yeah.
You've studied with incredible educators like Nancy Atwell and Mary Aaronworth. How did they influence your teaching approach?
Nancy Atwell taught me, gosh, so much. I got to study with her for a week in Maine. There were 5 of us from across the nation. Actually, 2 of the other participants came from Hawaii, but there were 5 of us who were selected to go work with her in Maine.
Uh-huh.
And she had won the MacArthur Genius Award, and it was clear why when I spent time in her classroom. I think that what she did was help me instill a love of reading in the kids that I taught and show me more efficient ways to check that and ways that allowed each child to sort of follow the path that he or she wanted to follow.
Yeah.
I came home and really boosted my classroom library and tried to make it to where I wasn't the person working the hardest in the room, but everybody was working hard to teach each other, and had the kids writing journals that moved around the room where they would sell the book essentially to another kid in the class.
Yes.
So conversations started about literature and proficiency. Just the test scores rose, which is very minor importance to me, but their interest in literature and their being lifelong readers. And I think that combined with what she taught me, she's also written a brilliant book on how to teach poetry that I used all the time, but she was lovely. And Mary was specifically, I worked with her at Columbia University. My principal at the time, shout out to him. Boy, he was great. Bob Christina said, yes, absolutely. I'll pay for you to go up there and do that because you're working with all these kids. And he was a lovely, lovely man. And
they don't all do that, eh?
No, I know. He's amazing. He's amazing. He's best principal I ever had and could see the potential. And so I flew up to Columbia and worked with Mary for a couple of days. And she had great practical exercises for getting the kids to open up about their narrative.
Yes.
Some of which I still use and some of which we partnered in the room. Like if you and I were partners and I would say, you tell me your story and I'm going to record it on my phone. And, you ask high schoolers to get out their phones and they go, yes. So we're going to use it as a recording device. And then your job, or my job after you tell me your story is for me to tell you what you said that really moved me. What parts of that were they jealous that they hadn't thought of, for example? And so, again, you start a conversation about writing and feedback that's just makes the room such a vibrant, wonderful learning lab.
Oh, your classroom sounds really fun. I mean, a lot of talking to each other, learning by doing.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah. So we love stories. Could you share a favorite success story from one of your students?
Do you want a success story from a student I taught or a success
Whatever you would like.
Okay. One of my students who recently came to my house to have dinner and teach me how to make the turkey tacos into tofu tacos because she's a vegetarian.
Oh.
Is having a birthday today, so shout out to Caroline Koontz.
Happy birthday!
Shout out to Caroline Koontz. Caroline was in my class, and she was also on the speech and debate team, and she had 2 different gears. One was in the classroom where she was pretty quiet, and one was in the Senate debate event
right.
where she was just a bulldog.
No kidding.
She was lovely.
She would change from very quiet student
She
to
was just
bulldog.
boom.
Wow.
But she went to school and successfully graduated with honors from University of Kentucky. And this is her first month in law school.
Oh, my.
She's in South Carolina and I think is destined to be an environmental lawyer. But she's also a very dear friend. And our tofu tacos were really good.
Tofu tacos, huh?
I said, okay, you're vegetarian. I don't know what I'm doing with tofu. So you come cook the tofu part. So we made a great dinner. Yeah. That was good.
So, did it have the same?
It was fabulous.
Really?
It was fabulous.
What did you put in besides the tofu?
Oh, everything. It's a great recipe book. It's Alex Snodgrass, and it's called, I think it's called Divine Dish.
Okay.
And that was Caroline's gift as she left for law school. I gave her a copy of the book. But there are lots and lots and lots of vegetables. So zucchini, red pepper, onion, garlic, poblano, pepper. Wow.
What a memory you have, Ann.
Tomato paste, vegetable broth, and then your turkey.
Yeah.
And then you wrap it in romaine lettuce. And or you go ahead and get out the chips, which, of course, everybody has to get out the chips.
Well, I know that you've taught school and you have your business, but you've also given back to the community through organizations like Friend to Friend, the Southern Pines Library, Boys and Girls Club. Oh, I just said library.
Library.
To
right.
AP.
It's great.
English teacher.
I love
library. Boys and Girls Club, Habitat for Humanity, and the list goes on. What drives the spirit of service?
I think probably my parents.
Your parents? Tell me about that.
I grew up in Arkansas. My dad.
Me too. I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, I just
How about you?
I'm Fayetteville. Dad taught.
Yeah, that's where I went to college.
Okay, there you go. Dad taught at the University of Arkansas. Go Razorbacks.
No kidding.
And my mom was a substitute teacher who everybody always tried to convince to run for office. But they were both very active in the community. I remember as a child, they would go to a civil rights meeting and we would have I have two siblings, an older brother and a younger sister. And I remember nights standing at the window watching crosses being burnt in our front yard.
Oh, that's so scary.
So I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on. I thought, that's kind of amazing. But they were really active in the community when the schools were needing to be desegregated and were not being desegregated. My mother, who had a master's degree from the University of Chicago in education, worked with a group of other women who were spouses of academicians at the University of Arkansas, and they set up a summer school in the Black community in order to give those kids an opportunity that they did not have. And so I went to school all year round, and I went to school 9 months of the year with the white kids, and I went to school in the summer with the Black kids. And it was pretty lovely. It was a pretty lovely experience. But I remember my mom I think I get a lot of my teaching abilities from her. I remember her trying to figure out how to get through to a child who was not grasping the idea of math, and she finally figured out the way to get there was through baseball and batting averages.
Really?
And she would bring.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, she would bring in real life situations, and it was great. Yeah, she was a good teacher.
And did she ever try to go into office, or
she did not? They did try to make her. She was very involved in the League of Women Voters. They did try to encourage her to run for the state legislature, and she opted to not do that. And I think probably should have gone to law school. I think a happy mom makes happy kids, and I think there was some frustration on her part that she hadn't pursued that.
Like a really smart lady.
Super smart lady.
Yes.
Super smart.
She'd be proud of you now, though.
Well, I'm trying to, fulfilling her dream of running for office. So.
Oh, are you? That wasn't even one of my questions. You're going to have to tell me all about that. Let's hear about it right now.
So I'm on the town council in Southern Pines, and I'm finishing up my first term, and I have filed to run again. So that election is November the 4th.
Okay.
I'll be running for my second term and hope to be elected again, obviously. And it's been fascinating and interesting. I love this village that I live in, and I
Yes.
really am interested in being a good steward of preserving the village feel and preserving what we have. And I'm really committed to.
Tell us a little bit about what you do as a town council.
As a town council member, we meet twice a month. We have a work session where we can talk about issues that may be coming up. And we also have a round table discussion at that point. If there's some issue that's come to my attention or somebody else on the council, we'll bring it up at that point. And then we have the regularly scheduled meeting where we're going through policy decisions regarding, oh my goodness, I've learned so much about trash. We spent lots of time learning about trash. We had a wonderful, remarkable man who helped us figure out what was the smartest thing to do economically and also
Yeah, was it about
environmentally.
recycling? Or?
It was about recycling. It was about all the decisions that had to be made. And he came and spoke with us a couple times, and I became much smarter about that. So trash and water and sewer and all of those infrastructure questions that come up. I'm really worried lately about sedimentation and issues that, I think growth is important, but I think smart growth is most important. And again,
Right. Oh, gosh. I'm so happy to hear you say that.
Right. I think
because we're growing in leaps and bounds, but are we planning it? Or
Right.
do we have the infrastructure for it?
I think responsible stewardship is the main thing that we should have our eye on.
And can we relax that that's what's happening here?
I think we're moving in that direction.
Good.
I'm a pretty loud voice in that regard.
Oh, good. So what if we have an issue that we would like to talk to the town council about or discuss or find more information about? What do we do?
So all of our emails are posted online, and you can email us. And I do try to email back constituents who email me. A lot of folks also have gotten from, one person or another have gotten phone number and feel free to text or call me. That's not a problem. But the other thing that happened is when I first went on the council, the public comments section would come at the end of the meeting. And honestly, sometimes our meetings last until midnight. Sometimes they'll start at 6 and go until midnight. So people are supposed to sit there for 6 hours and wait for their opportunity to be heard for 3 minutes. And I suggested, and we agreed to move the public comments up to the front of the meeting. So now,
that was smart. Yeah.
So now people can come have their time. It is limited to 3 minutes if it's just a public comment, but we take those real seriously.
You do.
And it was interesting, the first month after we moved public comments to the front of the meeting, we spent an hour listening to public comments in 3 minutes apiece, which was great.
Yeah.
And exciting that people felt, I get most excited when I see engagement in the community, but that was pretty fabulous. And it's died down some, but we probably average less than 10 now. But I love, love, love hearing from constituents. I think that's the most important thing I do is engaging with people.
So should we go on the Southern Pines website and find out when the meetings are and where you meet? Right. And then we know we're going to have 3 minutes to get our point across.
Exactly. Okay. And then if you stay until a break and you want to talk to me in person, you'll have another 5 minutes to get your point across.
Now, do you ask us questions or do you just go back and deliberate? Or?
Most of the time we don't ask questions. We're not supposed to. Sometimes we can't help ourselves.
Okay.
But oftentimes we follow up. And I tend to try to get a phone number for a person who has some specific interest that has not been addressed that I feel like I could help with.
Right.
And I'll often call them and follow up in that way. Yeah. So
how many people are on the town council?
There are 5 people on the council.
5 people. Okay. You juggle so many hats, Ann. Educator, entrepreneur, council member, volunteer, mom, dog mom, we've heard.
Absolutely.
How do you stay grounded?
Wow, I don't know that I'm always grounded.
Yeah. Honesty. How about that?
I don't know that I'm always grounded. I love long walks with my dogs, and I love long walks with my neighbors.
Yeah.
I have 2 particular routes through town that are lovely and fairly shaded. I do a lot of that. I love reading. I can do a YouTube rabbit hole.
Oh, me too.
With the best of them.
Me too. An hour later, I'm like, oh my gosh.
And I don't know that keeps me grounded. That kind of
No.
that kind of keeps my mind whirling. I'm not sure that keeps me grounded, but I think exercise. I think trying to put nutritional food in my body.
Yeah.
But I think more than anything else, the thing that probably keeps me grounded is I have a very strong group of friends.
Yes.
And I think that I lost my husband. My husband passed away 6.5 years ago now. And, shout out to my team, to Scott and Jeff and Robert and Lynn and Charlie and all the people who are and Valerie, the people who are a part of my community who
Yes.
are always there. And
Wow.
we're there for each other. And so I think that probably keeps me grounded.
Yeah.
And shout out to my kids who are great and check in, but they have their lives.
Right. That's why I just went and spent a week with my oldest daughter and her kids.
And where are they?
They're in Mississippi.
Oh, fun.
And it was so nice. Usually it's just a weekend in and out, but it was nice to be there a week because I actually was in their lives, you know?
You saw
watching how they live day to day. It was glorious. I loved every minute.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
So how do your commitments to community connect with your work in education?
Oh, I think work and education is a commitment to community.
Oh, yeah. You're right. You're right.
You've been there.
Absolutely right.
I think that they absolutely are. I mean, one of the largest commitments anyone can make to community. I'm saying this to young people now.
Yes.
One of the largest commitments you can make to community is to go into education.
Okay.
I think that there's no better way. And actually, when I was an attorney, I represented abused and neglected kids. And I did that in 3 counties. I was the guardian ad litem attorney for Hoke and Scotland and Moore County.
Uh-huh.
And that was very important work, but that was also work that by the time everybody got to that point, you were just literally putting a Band-Aid on a hemorrhage. You were not dealing with the real issue. But as an educator, if you take an interest in your students, I think you can really turn lives and you can help them pivot in a positive way, and you can help a child realize his or her potential. It's just, yeah. There's nothing.
She's lighting up, you guys. You can't see her, but she's lighting up.
There's nothing more important, I think. So.
How do you think it's looking out there for people going into education at this point?
I think it's looking tough.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you.
Yes.
I think it's looking tough. And I think that support for education and funding for education.
Yes.
Maybe I should circle back after this career and go to my next one where I actually do lobby.
Oh, yeah. You might get there yet.
Maybe when I'm 90, I'll go lobby for education. I think that if we don't make that a priority, we're going to pay the price later on.
I was just saying the very same thing.
I think it is essential that we make education one of our top priorities.
I mean, we are the future.
They are the future.
They are the future. We are teaching the future.
We are teaching.
There you
That's
go.
right. Absolutely.
Yes.
And
our future.
And we can't do that alone.
No.
And again, I hearken back to my group of amazing volunteers who were in the library until 10 p.m. at night, helping me with
that is such a cool thing
that's like, okay, thank you to John Nagy and thank you to Maggie Bonecutter and all the other people who assisted, and Robin Lamb. And, there were so many people who assisted with that, retired teachers, and just this area. We are so lucky in Moore County. We have so many bright people with so many skills.
We do.
And to not exercise the potential of all that energy and that strength in our community is a foolish thing. But people are there, and if you ask them, they're often willing to help. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't fund education. Education needs lots of financial backing.
It does. It really does.
Kids need to be worked with and taught, and they need to think.
Well, all of the things that you were talking about that you did and the extra thing, those are all extra. Those are on top of the teaching that you did from day to day in the classroom.
They were. Yeah, they were all.
I mean, I don't think people realize that.
Oh, it was at least a 70-hour-a-week job.
Yes.
The way that I did it. And I did realize after I retired, I retired in February. my birthday had been in January and I turned 65 and I retired. And for the first 2 months, I sat in front of my fireplace and read 64 books.
Did you really?
And then I thought, okay, that's great. I just did that.
Yeah,
Now,
that one.
what's next? Because that was fun and the cold months are ending and spring's coming. So what shall I do? And that's when I decided to run for town council, which I had always wanted to do, but hadn't. You can't teach 70 hours a week
you
and run
certainly
for town council.
cannot.
So
No.
it's been fun to have the time and to meet with people. Yeah, that's been great.
You've been recognized with honors like the Golden Apple, and I don't know what that is. You'll have to tell me what that is. And Moore County Teacher of the Year, and we're a semifinalist for State Teacher of the Year. What do those acknowledgments mean to you?
So the one that is most important to me was when I was voted Teacher of the Year by my peers. That's a high,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
So
You're right.
So that was the most important. And then when I became Teacher of the Year for the whole county, that was, outsiders making that decision based on interview and what witnessing me teaching in the classroom. And then when I was in the competition for State Teacher of the Year, again, those are people who I didn't work with. But the biggest honor I have ever received was that my peers voted me Teacher of the Year.
I love that.
That was just,
I just love that answer.
that was the most important, democratic, lovely, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Lovely honor, yeah.
When you think about your students years later, what do you hope they carry with them from their time with you?
An open mind.
An open mind. Well, you certainly did give them many opportunities to do critical thinking.
Right. And I was one of the places where they could disagree without a punishment.
Ah,
And that's been, they could call me on things and we could have a discussion. Keep it respectful,
yes.
but we could have a discussion. Sure. Yeah.
What's next for Craft of the College Essay? Where do you hope it goes in the next few years?
So Craft of the College Essay has been an interesting journey because, like I said, we're just coming off the springboard here. So I hope that the course reaches more kids. I hope that they're able to get access to that. It's been really interesting. And my daughter, the producer director.
That was really nice to have a producer director daughter.
My wonderful Katie. And I also have a left brain, wonderful, amazing. My younger daughter Jenny is an environmental engineer,
Is she?
And has just finished her master's degree at Columbia University, and she lives in Boston, and she's just amazing too. But I'm right now driven. I'm taking orders for my older daughter.
Okay. Oh, I bet she loves that.
But I forget where did your question start?
Where do you hope it goes in the next?
Where do I
years?
hope the business goes? So Katie has suggested that I want to pay someone to do the magic that one does to make your Google search, to make yourself come in higher on the Google search. And I said, no, not really. Because the interesting thing about the business is it's grown just really by word of mouth for the most part. And so the tentacles have gone in funny directions. So I have a pot of people I'm helping in Charlotte. I have local people I'm working with. I have people I'm helping in Milwaukee. I have a person I've helped in Ohio.
So this is nationwide.
And
you can help anyone nationwide.
And then Hinsdale, Illinois has been another place where I sort of have a little covey of folks I'm helping.
Huh.
And that has been, somebody asked me the other day, in fact, Kimberly Tawes, who, shout out to her because the Country Book Shop supported me as I kicked off the business and supported me doing a seminar. And they carry the book that I really recommend people buy, which is Ellen Gelb's book. But Kimberly Tawes said, how's the business growing? And I said, it is growing at exactly the right speed.
Okay.
I'm a little bit pushed, but not so much that I'm overwhelmed.
Yes.
And so the course is there for anyone to take at any time. And obviously, I would love for more people to take the course. But the one-on-one counseling and the one-on-one consulting work that I'm doing is happening about as fast as I can do it.
Right.
And to be one-on-one involved in those lives that are, so precious and so vulnerable and looking for direction, I really can't do many more than 4 a day without being completely exhausted. So
I bet so.
So that's great. And we're there.
Yes. Okay. Oh my goodness. And that's just from July 7th.
And that's fun. Yeah. The other interesting thing that's happened, and this happened actually before I started the business, is a few of my old students who had contacted me because they are now coming back around in the system, and they're applying to medical school and dental school and law school. And they contacted me and said, hey, help me with the essays.
Right.
And so that looks like it's going to be kind of a season that balances out these kids, the high school seniors that I'm working with. So it'll be interesting. But I'm looking forward to a little break. I think
Are you going to take a break?
I think so. My wonderful friend, my one of my best friends in the world, Ansley Rudd, who lives in Hawaii right now, said if I could get back to Hawaii, I've been to see her a couple times, and if I could get back there, that maybe we should go to Fiji together. And I've never been there. So,
Oh, goodness.
so I think that's going to be. I think
Good
that's in the
for
works
you.
when things slow down.
When things slow down. Uh-oh. You might have to make them slow down.
I think I might schedule that one. You're right.
So as admissions evolved in our colleges, universities, what role do you see the essay playing in helping students stand out?
I think that's a really interesting question because I think AI is going to throw a real
Yes, true.
cog in the wheel here. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure how folks are going to, I'm not sure how colleges are going to respond to AI.
Yes.
And what I say on the course that I filmed was, if you're going to use AI to do your college essay, then don't come to, I'm not your girl.
Yeah.
Don't come to me, because I want it to be authentic. I want to be able to interview you. I want you to be able to talk through what you're doing.
Right.
The most important thing to me, obviously, is authenticity. But I think that's going to be a growing problem. When Jenny, my younger daughter, applied to Columbia for the master's program in sustainability management, that was a fascinating thing that they did, where she was given a question online. She had 1 minute to prepare her answer, and it was a live feed.
Yes.
And she was answering that in 60 seconds or less.
Really?
And I think colleges will probably find that I may be put out of business by the fact that this is just no longer, it may be anachronistic and not fit in with what's happening in the next few years. We'll see.
What do you think about that? Do you think that that's a good way to go, or can you show yourself in 60 seconds?
No, I think that was really stressful, and I think that's really hard. And I think the kids who are extroverted are going to have a huge advantage over the kids who are introverted. I think
Right.
that's unfair, but I thought it was a clever way to respond and make sure they had authenticity. I
Right.
did think that was cool. So what do I think about that? What would I do if I were running a college? Gosh, we may see people circle back to personal interviews more than they
Personal
have in the
interviews.
past. May
Yeah.
happen, just so folks actually meet who they think they meet. I do think that the essay, if young people do it correctly, I think it actually teaches them a really important writing skill. And they find out they are narrative writers, and that's a skill that follows you through life.
Yes.
So hopefully that continues to be a component of it. It may get weighted less importantly as it becomes just completely unclear on
Right.
who actually wrote the essay,
Oh,
which is not that different from the mistake Bruce and I made, where we were way too involved in Katie's essay to start with.
right.
So
Right.
you often get in the college land and college admissions land, it's called a DDI. It's a daddy did it.
Uh-huh.
So if the essay is so
Really?
if the essay is so polished and so filled with vernacular that sounds so adult that, it makes no sense that that child would have actually done that, then that gets put into the reject pile, maybe, and the child runs the risk of that. So if a young person is such a good writer that they get thrown into this is questionable, is this a DDI?
Yes.
That's a problem too.
Right.
So
Definitely so.
Yeah, I can see personal interviews digitally, a virtual personal interview or in person. I can see that happening. We'll see what happens. But
So dream big with us.
Okay.
If time and resources weren't an obstacle, what project would you love to launch?
oh gosh, I think I've done it. Honestly.
Oh, that's wonderful. This was it.
I really feel good about this. This has been something that's been in the back of my mind for a long time.
Wow.
And to have had the chance to be in LA and film a course is something I never thought I would do. To have this wonderful communication with people around the country is something I never thought I would do. So at the moment, I'm really happy. You check in with me in another decade. I tend to pivot on the decades.
Oh, is that it? The decades? 10 years of this, 10 years of that.
So we'll see. We'll see what comes next. But I am so happy and so fulfilled with working with young people right now. I mean, you've taught. You know what I'm talking about. There's so much. There's so much paperwork at school, though, and there's so many hoops you jump through that seem like they're not really aiding with the child's education.
Yeah.
And these are. These are moments where a kid walks in the door and I go, yes, okay, let's go. Here's where we were last time and let's work on your supplemental essay for blank, wherever.
Yeah. It's the one-on-one connection with the kids that I miss.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And
not the hoopla.
And I hated the paperwork and I hated putting in grades. And I didn't think they were really reflective of what was going on as far as learning went. And those were things that I just really despised. I hated traffic duty.
Yeah. Bus duty, yes.
Bus duty. I hated writing up discipline reports.
Or the days that you had to sit in meetings all day and learn stuff. The next new thing
that you just
really not new.
It's really recycled.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
this is what we're doing now. Yeah.
Well, we did this 10 years ago. Okay, it's back.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't miss any of those things, but I did miss the kids, and this has been a lovely way for me to be back together with the kids, and it's great.
Oh, that makes me smile so much to hear you say that. Okay, quick fire round. Mm-hmm. Coffee or tea? Definitely tea. Favorite place in Moore County to unwind?
Probably my backyard.
Your backyard. Mm-hmm. Nice. A book you've reread more than once?
Lately, I've reread Jen Sincero's book entitled You Are a Badass. And
really?
She is a 60-year-old woman who did a pivot, and she's written a whole series of books, but she went from making no money to just this amazing trajectory. And her book is just filled with practical advice, and it was pretty pivotal as I was putting together what I wanted to have happen with the business.
Oh, I have not read it. It makes me want to read it.
You Are a Badass.
Yeah. You are a badass. Okay. All right. So in those 64 books that you read, what type of books were they?
It was a combination. There were a few classics.
Uh-huh.
There was a lot of trash.
Okay.
There was some nonfiction. It was just everything that is stacked up beside my bed for years, because I was never able, except during summers, to have the luxury of actually reading what I wanted to read. Because if my students were reading To Kill a Mockingbird or Pride and Prejudice, or
you were too,
The Importance of Being Earnest, I was reading what they were reading, over and over and over and over again.
Debate topic you'll never forget.
I most loved watching the kids grapple with the question about whether or not to eliminate the Electoral College.
Really?
And we had fascinating conversations about it, but it was most fun to watch their wheels turn and to understand the history of it and why it existed and whether or not it made sense and how to ensure that everybody has a voice. I think that was probably my favorite topic.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gluten-free.
I am gluten-free.
Mm-hmm. What is your best gluten-free cookie flavor? Not yours, but...
Right. Well, I'm all about my own. I keep cookie dough.
Which is what?
Yeah, which is a gluten-free oatmeal chocolate chip.
Oh, yeah.
With almond flour.
So almond
good.
flour.
Oh, girl,
okay.
So good. But I do love the Tate's Bakehouse ginger cookies.
Oh.
And it used to be, when Bruce was still alive, that I would buy a bag of those, and I would some days call him at work and say, come home fast because I'm about to eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Come do your part.
Hurry up.
And he would race up the hill and do his part. Yeah.
You got to stop me.
So now that he's gone, I don't buy them anymore.
Yeah. I see why. Yes.
The whole bag is a bit excessive.
Okay. What mischief have your two golden retrievers been up to lately? What are their names first?
Their names are Abby and Wendy. How about your two? You have two.
Yes, Eli and Ella.
I love that. And I'm going to turn this question back around to you in just a second.
No, don't you do it.
But we had an interesting discussion as I walked in the door. She said, oh, my dogs know how to open the door. And I thought, mine do too.
Yeah.
We both had that universal hand crank on our
That's
Universal Jordan. So the dogs have learned they can jump up, pull it down, and open the door, which is really, that's a problem. But the most interesting thing my dogs have done lately is I think they're sort of masterminding a subway route in my backyard. So they would do really deep holes.
Oh, my goodness.
Really deep holes for the stations and then little trenches for it to get me. They've been very busy. But they always smile while they work. Golden retrievers are just known for smiling.
They're so pretty too. Golden retrievers are gorgeous dogs. Oh yeah.
How about you?
They're with mud all over them. Well, it's funny that you say the digging part because I had a squash garden.
Oh.
And I got rid of it because I had the squash bugs and everything, and they didn't do. And so it was just a garden full of dirt. And Eli got in the garden and you could not even see his, all you could see was his tail.
Right.
Because he had gotten so far completely underground with just his tail sticking out.
I think he's trying to connect with the subway station in my house.
He must be. Yeah, they're calling each other.
They're putting in a line, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. All right, one word your students use most to describe you.
I don't know. I think you'd have to interview my students to find out.
Yeah?
I really don't know. I've been described as scary, which is true.
I always wanted to be scary.
I had high expectations. Shout out to Jennifer Kearney. She and I were listed as the 2 scariest teachers at Pinecrest.
Oh.
So that was really good. And she was a great teacher, so I consider that a compliment. I've been described as teaching with urgency. I've been described as compassionate, but I think it would just depend on the individual's experience. You would have to ask them.
Well, you're certainly innovative. I mean, that's
you're very
sure.
kind. You're very kind. So, some people would call that, unduly creative.
Yeah.
I appreciate the innovation. Vote, yeah.
So if you could have coffee with any author, living or dead, who would it be? And tell me why.
Okay, so, oh boy, I'd love to talk to Oscar Wilde and basically track his journey, from just brilliance to jail to, I'd love to rescue Oscar Wilde and have more brilliant things from him. I don't know that I could, but I'd love to think that I could. I'd love to talk to Jane Austen, who was working at a time when women were not able to be recognized. She had to write under a pseudonym.
Yes.
And most recently, and I guess it's an author because he wrote a bunch of screenplays, but the person I would probably like to talk to who's still alive is Jason Sudeikis, who wrote Ted Lasso. I don't know if you're a Ted Lasso fan.
Oh, I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah, Believe. I would love to talk to him because I think, and I've been back and watched Ted Lasso probably 3 times.
We just started it up again.
It's fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really interested in what happened in the writer's room because there's an arc for each character. And were there times in the writer's room where they said, wait a minute, we have to do something with so-and-so in order to complete the arc for that character. And I would love to have a conversation with him about how they did that and how that, the
writing's brilliant.
Oh, the writing's incredible. Who would bring that up, and how did that happen? And was it just one person, or were each one of them advocates for different characters? How did they work that out? So I think that would be
interesting,
stunning to have that conversation. Yeah, I probably would do. There was a young adult author that I reached out and asked her some questions, and she called me back at school late one afternoon when I was still at Southern Middle, and my cell phone went off in my room, and I was around the corner in another teacher's room. My daughter was there, and she came to get me, and she said, "Mom, Karen Hess is on the phone for you." And I was a total fangirl.
Really?
It was embarrassing. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you got me on the phone. Just calm down, Ann, and my child's just going, "Oh, this is so humiliating." So yeah, I'd probably fangirl a little bit much with Jason Sudeikis, but I would love to calm down enough to have a real conversation with him. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, that sounds really, I'm with you on that. And I would love to know because, I didn't think of it that way. But yes, you're right. Each character development.
Exactly. And they've been so democratic and so equitable with the way everybody has their story. And yeah,
there's a new season coming out.
I know. I'm very excited.
Yeah. I'm curious how they're going to do it. I guess he's going to be
the women's coach.
Yes, the women's coach.
We can only hope.
right,
Speaking of equity.
Yeah, exactly. So now you said your daughters trained you well. What's the best parenting lesson they've taught you?
Probably to back off.
Oh,
And I don't know that they didn't teach that to me in a mean way, but I
right.
think allowing them to fly
Let them be.
and seeing that they are actually better at what they do than I could have instructed them how to do it. I think teaching me patience and watching it happen. I mean, they're
That's
both
hard.
they're
It's
both
very
super.
hard.
And I think that it's been really a gift from the universe that I have one right brain and one left brain, because to watch them both do what they do so successfully and to watch them both become just amazing adults has been fabulous.
Yeah.
And I'd love to take full credit for that. But honestly, one of the best things, and I'm not great at backing off, but
No, that's hard. It's very, very hard.
one of the best things that I can do, and when they have their most success, sometimes is when I just say, I'm proud of you.
Right.
And then to see what they do is astonishing.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, my oldest daughter's having that right now because her oldest son is 20 and her middle child is about to turn 18, and she's got to let them go. And that is so hard.
It's really interesting. And that's a pivot for
That is a
that's
pivot.
a pivot for those of us who have raised children. When your kids leave and you have to, they are not who you are.
No,
And you have to figure out who you are.
That's
and,
right.
And I think as women, we sometimes put who we are on hold as we try to help
you're right.
nurture our children along. Yeah.
All right, so finish this sentence. The best essays are the ones that
Are authentic.
Yes. Yes.
And I think people would rather be moved than taught. So
Than taught. That's good.
I think that essays that move me to either laughter or tears are sometimes some of the best essays too.
Well, I bet whoever read the essay from your daughter Katie about the tree situation was giggling away.
It's a pretty funny essay.
I could picture it. I mean, the way you told it, I could picture it.
Oh my gosh. It was horrifying to drive into the driveway. And I thought, where is my father-in-law and what is he doing?
Did he get yelled at?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No, he's in the backyard doing yard, completely oblivious. But Katie was handling the situation.
She had it under control. All right, Ann, before we wrap things up, you know I can't let you leave without your very own Imagine More jingle. Every guest gets one, and it's my way of saying thank you and sharing your story with us. So here's yours.
I'm excited.
Craft of the college essay, find your voice. Stand out boldly, make the right choice. Write with power, let your truth convey. College dreams start the Peterson way.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that is so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ann.
I may have to steal that jingle and post it on my website.
Yeah, it's yours. It's yours. So,
wow, look at you. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. It was a pleasure having you here on the Imagine More podcast. Leave the listeners with one last piece of advice and tell us how we get in touch with you if we want to join the class, get in your course one-on-one.
Okay. So to get in touch with me, you go to craftofthecollegeessay.com.
Okay.
And there you'll find a way to email me. And you can also just sign up for the course if you want. You can read all about all your options. And so the website is there, and it really does. It is craftofthecollegeessay.com. And that's the way.
That's easy to remember.
That's the way you get in touch with me. One last piece of advice. I think don't be afraid to pivot is probably the thing that I'm not really afraid of, obviously.
Yes, no.
But I love being able to say, and I understand it's a gift, that I love what I do. And I've always been able to say that.
Yes.
And when it was not something I loved, I had maybe it was the stupidity, but maybe it was the courage to just shift gears and to try something new. And I think that's huge. And it's a lesson that both my girls have taken from me and demonstrated.
Sounds like it, yeah.
And so be fearless.
Be fearless. It's okay.
Be fearless. That's right. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, and what you're doing now doesn't have to be what you're doing for the rest of your life.
No, there'll be a change in 10 years. We'll see what it is.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And I want to say too, Rose, I appreciate so much. I'm not surprised that we came together and connected because you two are obviously involved in the community. And I appreciate so much that you are. I'm not sure what brought you to Boys and Girls Home. Kiwanis did. So there you go. There you go. So I appreciate the fact that one reason to be involved in community is to meet other people involved in community. And Rose is one of my gifts of late.
Oh, well, thank you. That's so
that.
sweet. I appreciate that. That's so nice of you. Thank you again for sharing your story and your heart with us today. And you really did share your heart with us today, Ann.
I enjoyed it. Thanks.
Your work, whether in the classroom, the council chamber, or with Craft of the College essay, is such a gift to our community. For listeners who want to learn more, check out Craft of the College essay. You'll find all the details in our show notes. And to all of you tuning in, if you enjoyed today's conversation, please subscribe, share, and leave us a review. It helps us connect even more voices in Moore County and beyond. Until next time, I'm Rose Young, and this is the Imagine More podcast. Let's keep dreaming, keep creating, and as always, imagine more.
Imagine more stories that soar, business, life, and so much more. Laughs, lessons, and local delight. It's the podcast that feels just right. It's the Imagine